How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're once again working on the Black Beauty, and we're gonna do something really simple, nothing crazy. We're gonna do a basic oil change. Now I decided to make this video because a lot of people believe that the best oil out there for this engine, well, for any engine for that matter, is Mobil 1. And yes, short-term answer, yes, Mobil 1 is the best oil. There's a lot of video, a lot of research explaining why Mobil 1 is the best so far. Besides Royal Purple, that's a whole different other oil. But today I'm just gonna explain why you don't want to use Mobil 1 for this engine. Now, the reason why you don't want to use Mobil 1 for this engine is because the 4.0 engine was designed for oil that had zinc in it at the time. Oil manufacturer decided not to put zinc anymore because it creates suds, and basically it creates like a barrier inside the catalytic converter, like clogging it up and preventing the exhaust from leaving. So they decided to remove zinc from the oil. Now this engine in particular needs that zinc because this 4.0 engine has push rod with flat tapped lifters, and the engine requires zinc so it can act like a sacrificial barrier on the surface. So when those two components touch, it doesn't like start breaking down like the metal surface on the lifters, and that's the reason why this engine needs zinc. Now apparently Mobil 1 does not have zinc, or they probably do but not enough to keep the engine happy and healthy. So after doing a research and talking to a few people, they said the best oil brand you want to get for the 4.0 engine is this Quick State branded oil. Now this one is specifically for high mileage. They say that this brand adds zinc, especially for the high mileage ones, oil, and that's basically is the right ingredient what this engine was designed to use. Now, of course, you can use Mobil 1, you can use a bunch of other oil out there, but so far from my research and stuff, everyone is keep recommending Quick State oil, and I'm just gonna go with it. I'm gonna see how it works. So my engine does have a little bit of a lifter knocking noise, but it's not that severe where I need to take the whole car apart and replace the lifters. So this engine requires 6 quarts of oil. I'm gonna use 5W30 for this because winter is coming. I prefer the oil to be a bit more thin when it comes to cold temperature, so it can lubricate all the components faster when I start it up in the cold. And when it comes to freezing temperature, nothing kills your engine more than having thick oil slowly lubricating everything. You want the oil to seep, you want the oil to move around quickly when you start up your car so that you can keep everything lubricated. So I'm running 5W30. All right, so let's get our pan. We're just gonna slide it under. All right, so we're under the car. Now the oil pan is located at the front, past the diff. Make sure you get the pan line because a lot of oil is going to come out once you remove that bolt. All right, and then the bolt is right here. You can kind of see it. And I always like to do is inspect the oil pan as well for rust. There's a bit of rust here, so I might want to patch this up so I don't get a hole in the future. And the best time to drain your oil is after you took it around the block and just let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes, let it cool off. Then that's the best time to remove the oil. You don't want to remove the oil when it's completely cold, because not all the oil, not all of the disgusting things that build up is going to come out. So like that. All right, now we are ready to remove the oil. I think that's a 16 millimeter. And I was the last one to change out the oil, so it shouldn't be that tight to remove. All right, put some there, give it a good turn. Stuck. Now align your pan correctly because oil is gonna drip like mad. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and just let the oil drain. It's gonna take a couple of minutes. You wanna make sure you get the most out of your engine, so all of the debris and stuff that piles up at the bottom of the oil pan can come out. Since you're waiting for the oil to drain, you can also clean the bolt. Also check the rubber seal around it. This one still looks pretty good, so I'm gonna reuse it. If you have a strip one or a beat up one, I recommend replacing it. It makes it way easier for next time. This one's still pretty good. So we're just gonna let it drain, and then we're gonna go ahead and remove the filter. Now what I love about this Jeep, you can access it two ways. You can get the filter from here, which I think is the most easiest because it's right in front of me. And you can also go underneath the car and remove it. Now these should be hand tight. You should never be using a special ratchet or anything to make it tight. But yeah, you might. I was the last one to put it in, so it should come out fairly easy. If not, I have a special lever tool I can use to remove it. Now, in case you're wondering what type of filter I'm using this one right here. This one's ultra synthetic and is good for 20,000 miles. And it's about $8. It's not that expensive. I mean, you can always pick up a cheap filter, but if $1 difference for a better one, why not? Also, I recommend this one. Also, another thing I recommend, but this one is normally for anyone who has a Jeep Cherokee of 2000-2001 with the 4.0 liter. What I recommend, as you drain the oil, take a look inside the fill hole and check for any cracks or any buildup. A lot of forums told me that you can actually check inside the hole to see if your head is cracked, because they said the majority of places where the head will crack will be in the center here, where you can actually see, which is the blessing. Now, I'm not 100% sure if the previous owner replaced the head, because when I look inside there, I can see new seals around the valve cover. So I'm hoping he changed it. If not, it's like a $600 piece. You can buy the head, to strip everything out, and you can put the new head in, or you can bring it in. Really pricey, but definitely check it so you can see how good your engine head is. I mean, best time to do it is right now while the oil is draining. And also another thing you want to check is check the cap itself, and just make sure there's no like chocolate milkshake like residue on it, because if you have that indicates you have a coolant leak, or you have a head gasket leak and the coolant's coming inside the oil, is mixing with the oil. So you want to check that. So far mine looks clean. I looked in there, it looks clean. I even checked the oil. I checked the coolant. Coolant's still green, so it's pretty good. I treat oil changes as a checkpoint for everything related to the engine, and it's just good practice to check all the fluids while you're waiting. Because I have a lot of friends that they change their oil and they never check any other fluids, and then like a week later it turns out that their engine was overheating and they didn't have enough coolant. Or another friend I have, he said that after an oil change a week later, he broke a brake line, but he didn't notice it because it was a small leak. I'm like, all this could be prevented if you just check all your fluids to make sure everything's good, check underneath the carriage, make sure everything's working as it should. I always treat oil changes as a checkpoint for the car. Check everything, check your tires, check your pressure on the tires, check your air filter, your coolant, check your power steering, check your master cylinder, even check the belt. Make sure the belt's not cracked. Check the battery, especially for you off-road guys. Make sure the battery's strapped and it's not moving. Check the connections. I always like checking the connections, because especially out here in New England where we get summer and winter and high winds and snow and all that, a lot of these battery terminals get corroded or get rusted. So just check them, and these looks pretty good. All right, let's finish this oil change. It looks like we finished the oil. We can go ahead and just clean it and put the plug back on. course, before you put it in, you want to put some oil around the seal to make sure that it's nice and tight when it squeezes in. Also, it keeps it from seizing up when you take it out the next time. Now most people would fill this up with oil and then put it in, but since mine's in awkward position, it's gonna leak if I do that. So it's perfectly fine to put it in. Just when you start up the car, don't rev it or anything, let the oil cycle through, nice and easy. This car takes about 6 quarts, so I'm gonna put 5 quarts, check the level, and then slowly add the remainder. Once you put the oil in, just give it a couple of minutes, let the oil settle, and then check the level. I definitely know I'm gonna add more oil, but you just want to check the level, because if you overdo it, then you have to loosen the drain plug a little bit and let oil come out, which is just gonna be annoying. So it's best just to put the bare minimum, check the level, and then slowly add a bit more. And once again, the best time to do this, the best time to do an oil change is now, guys. It's October. You don't want to be doing this in the middle of the cold where the wind is blowing, making a complete mess, especially if you don't have a garage. Best time to do it is right now, fall. Get your oil checked, get your coolant checked, get your heater core checked. You want to do this now, because once winter comes, it becomes really difficult, especially with the cold wind and everything. Okay guys, we are done. Once again, as I said, guys, don't use Mobil 1 anymore for this engine. Do your research, use any oil that has zinc in it, because this engine really needs that. If you find the video helpful, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Also, if you guys have any tips or any comments, you know, drop it down below so I can see it. I'm still learning a lot of things about this car that I didn't know. So if you have any tips, let me know. All right, guys, have a good one. Bye-bye.